Finally, a pro wrestling discussion show that's civil and constructive, introspective and informative. Mr. Clean and Springsteen, the bald and the beautiful, Final Bell Media and the Juice Box present Drew and Juice.
All right, I said I was gone. Clearly, I'm not. Maybe this was just who I am. I don't know. I'm Andrew Baydala. That is Juice Springsteen. Drew and Juice is back. We are previewing the Naughty Door, the Forbidden Door that is going down in London this Sunday on pay-per-view. I was going to say call your local pay-per-view providers, but we don't do that anymore. Juice,
no, we don't.
It has been far too long. There has been so much news. We have taken a really long time away from the podcast, YouTube streaming game, X streaming. We're back. It's always good to see you in your stupid hat. But, I mean, man, the landscape of professional wrestling and sports entertainment has changed dramatically. We're going to get into all of that. Plus, we're going to answer your questions. And yes, we will talk about what everybody wants to talk about, I'm sure, which is WWE and ESPN. But realistically, this is a show about Forbidden Door. I'm Andrew Baydala, that's Juice Springsteen. Juice!
What's up, Drew? Look, man, last time I saw you, we were in Dallas. And then we saw one hell of a show. I mean, it was so damn good. Hell of a weekend. You, me, Blake Mitchmore. Great weekend with the guys. And look, it's summertime. There's things going on outside of pro wrestling. Although you might not think that watching this program tonight, but it's nice that we're back in the saddle. We have quite a bit to go through. Yeah, Forbidden Door, WWE, ESPN. I mean, my God.
Real quick, sir. I want to give a quick shout out to these boys, the Wrestle Collective. Good friends of mine. Really enjoy what they're trying to do. I've kind of pushed them in the right direction here or there, but that collective unit, no pun intended, is a good group of dudes who are going to do some good things in this space. Shout out to them. They had a great turnout today, and they needed no help, which is why a lot of them might be sitting back saying, hey, man, how come you didn't retweet our stuff or doing it? Because I wanted you guys to do it on your own, and I wanted to see what you could get on your own, and you guys did very well. All right?
To be fair, I reposted them, so I tried to help.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take the fatheristic approach, which is not a word, but I'm going to make that up. So that's what I took. I want to make sure
the brother approach.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure that they get theirs without having to rely on others, and they didn't. Shout out to you boys. Shout out to, I'll use his kayfabe name. Shout out to Slick.
Yeah, that's what we do here. Yeah, I know your name's not really Andrew Baydala. It's Ticket Drew.
No, my name's Andrew Baydala. I don't work in the
Ticket Drew.
The kayfabe
First name
world.
Ticket, last name Drew.
His name Drew. Yeah, I'm in a lot of people's like phones as Ticket Drew. So
it's what you have been in my phone since 2017. So
okay. What up, Phil? What up, Matt? 316 MMA. What up? What up, Sean? All right. Juicy, my boy. We were in Dallas.
Yes.
We're all in. We are now going full steam ahead towards the Forbidden Door. And then the next pay-per-view after that is All In. All Out. Right. We were that always confuses me. I don't know why. All Out in Toronto. And they have great numbers in terms of attendance, obviously coming off Dallas and now London. They're at 17,000. I mean, these next three pay-per-views for AEW seem to be smashes. I really enjoyed the atmosphere in Dallas. We never really got to talk about this. It was a big energy. There was a big fight feel. I will say, a couple dynamites after that, I was kind of like, well, and that's just how wrestling goes. But we are towards Forbidden Door, and I couldn't be more excited about it. Last night's show we'll preview Forbidden Door. But Juice, why don't you start us off? What do you want to talk about?
Well, first, I just wanted to conclude that Dallas thing. I mean, I've been to a few WrestleManias. I know you've been to quite a few, and I've been to other big pay-per-views and what have you. I even got to go to Dynasty earlier this year, so I've already been to an AEW pay-per-view before I got to All In. And I will say this, and I know people will come at this as if it's tribalistic, but this is how wrestling is looked at in my perspective and others. All In Texas was the closest thing to a WrestleMania that's not WrestleMania. And I think AEW should look at that as a huge positive, build on that, and just continue to roll with that, because I felt like it was WrestleMania. It was crazy. The vibes in the whole building, it looked amazing. And hopefully it looked great on TV. I saw clips, but I mean, we were there, so I can't see what you're looking at there. It's out of frame. Oh,
they did a really good job with. Normally, it's just the laminate or the sticker. They did a really good job with media. Shout out to all those boys and girls who did that. They did a really, really good job. So
absolutely. So Drew, we're going to talk Forbidden Door. We're going to talk WWE and ESPN. Can I hit you with like 3 or 4 small-ish topics to get us kind of cooking, and then we can dive.
We're going to talk about the naughty. We're going to talk about the naughty door. 100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, and these are all. I didn't talk about these with you beforehand, so you could shut them down if you don't want to talk about them. That's perfectly fine with me. It's right. Drew and Juice, so I'll take the back seat here. Talking about the rumors. Chris Jericho, could he be returning to WWE, Drew? He was the first AEW champion. He's been, he was one of the first guys to be like a veteran to establish AEW as a company that's not just starting, but let's put our flag, down right now. Seemingly, it could be the end for Jericho. We don't know. Rumors are up in the air. Of course, he toys with everybody on social media, posting Royal Rumble clips and such. Just your thoughts on the whole thing, because he's a legend in this business, and to me, I think he would like to go out on a high note with a Hall of Fame induction one day.
All right. Well, I'll say this to say that.
Yeah.
Your last statement's 100%, I think, accurate. I think Chris would absolutely love to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I think he'd love to be in any Hall of Fame. His body of work, I think that goes for any professional wrestler, sports entertainer. Is it like the end all be all for these gentlemen? Probably not. I mean, you could speak to some people and they could say, I really don't give a shit about Hall of Fame inductions. Okay, fine. So be it. It's all perspective and it all is personal opinion. Jericho is very smart. He is a veteran of this game in terms of free agency, in terms of driving his stock price up, in terms of making everyone feel like he is wanted and desired, and good on Chris for that. Do I think Chris has done everything he possibly could do for AEW since 2019? Yes. Do I think Chris Jericho deserves a lot of credit for getting AEW where it was and is? Yes. Should WWE be interested in a short-term run with Chris Jericho? Yes. If it all comes together and makes sense. Could he return to AEW? Sure. But what Chris is doing right now is he's getting all the lemmings to line up and start talking about him. He's got 4 months before we start getting into real hot and heavy. Where's Chris going to end up? And it's either going to be AEW or WWE or one of their affiliates, obviously. So Chris has been able to reinvent himself for a very long time. But I think at this point in time, Chris has done so much and has accomplished so much that this is it. It's either going to be a year with AEW in terms of active, or maybe a 6-month run with WWE and goes into the Hall of Fame, or whatever Chris and WWE TKO decide. But I do believe this is the last large contract Chris Jericho will be getting in terms of an active wrestler. And there's a lot of things that Chris has done for the industry that he should, go into the Hall of Fame for. Whether you like Chris Jericho or not, whether you care about his political opinions or not, who gives a shit? At the end of the day, I don't care what these wrestlers or entertainers do in their personal lives or support this person or that person. I don't care, because they're not my homies. So we're not having dinner and we're not discussing life and anything else like that. So neither should you guys and girls, I guess. But yeah, I think Jericho is going to drive his stock price up, and I think he'll end up in, I think at the end of the day, Juice, for a long-winded answer, I think he ends up in WWE.
And I've kind of come to that conclusion too. I think that, when you get to the end of your run, it's not necessarily the same thing as CM Punk, but CM Punk kind of was like, wow, WWE is my last chance in wrestling, to make an impression. And he's been a good soldier and everything's worked and it's been great, So I think Chris Jericho, not with that pressure necessarily, but coming to the end of his career, because he's been around for so damn long. I mean, Tony Khan was at Jericho's final ECW match. I think he knows this is what I kind of want to do. And
I also think that it's hysterical to watch people be like, Jericho has nothing left to give the industry, all this other stuff. Like, first of all,
outlandish.
Shut up. Right. Shut up. It's Chris Jericho. None of us, none of you should be sitting here telling Chris Jericho when to hang it up. Do I think that there are going to be people banging down his door for the next couple of years? Sure. Do I think Chris is going to want to do it? I don't know. That's why I said I think that this could be his last year as an active wrestler. I think Chris could do a lot and continue to do a lot in the professional wrestling sports entertainment game, not being active. That's up to him. He's got a very good,
probably.
Sure. He's got a successful music career, which he could just go ahead and do that as well.
True. So, I guess he could do that.
I mean, Jericho is all over the place. I will tell you, though, I think there's a chance that Tony would want a Chris Jericho's retirement match, much like he got Sting in an AEW ring. So that possibility is always going to be out there. And at the end of the day, money talks and bullshit walks. And we'll see if Tony thinks that he can, turn a profit or wants to do right by Chris Jericho, because Jericho did right by them. Don't get me wrong. Jericho collected a handsome paycheck, just like any professional wrestler and sports entertainer should. But I think if Tony could get Chris in his ring for his final match and Chris doesn't actually go back on that word, which a lot of wrestlers do, and has his final match a la Sting.
Yeah.
I think you could get 1-2 years of Chris Jericho.
And I'll say this to cap the whole conversation off. I've been such a proponent and fan of Tony Khan and AEW as a whole, celebrating their legends and utilizing them to their full potential. If they could still wrestle, he puts them in quality things, and they still goes. And then Sting, Bryan Danielson with his last match, Nigel McGuinness getting some shots now. It's like great. Your Tully Blanchards, your Jake Roberts being behind the scenes, Taz, Tony Schiavone, all these guys. So I think you're right. I think Tony Khan, if he has it up to him, hey, Chris, you want to do your final match here? I know that there's a Hall of Fame induction there, and that could still happen without him wrestling in WWE. So let's have your final match here, and maybe you can double dip and get that Hall of Fame induction too.
I think there's a lot of guys who go into the WWE Hall of Fame who don't have a last match there. I truly believe that. Jericho's one of them. I think that's possible. I think Taz is one of them. I think Dustin Rhodes is one of them. When he goes in as Goldust, I highly doubt he has a match in WWE. I mean, he could, but I would doubt it. There's a lot of people. I think Jerry Lynn could go into the WWE Hall of Fame. He was a big part of ECW. I'm trying to think of right now.
And shout out to the natural Dustin Rhodes, who had a double knee replacement surgery today. Damn, that guy is tough. I could not imagine going. He's been wrestling since the late 80s, and to consistently do it all the way until now,
right?
Win title in Texas. We were there, and to have this, it's remarkable that he's still at a high level, and hopefully he can come back and still a little bit juice left in the tank, if you will.
It seemed like that moment came together very quickly too, because of what happened with Adam Cole, which very unfortunate. Wishing him the best.
Absolutely,
him and his family and his health. It's always funny to me because a lot of people look at the Goldberg situation and they say, well, at least he got to go out. I think you could thank Tony Khan. And I will say Tony Khan, and this is going to sound crazy, but although it was terrible, Conrad Thompson, because he kind of profiled and made it a big deal about Ric Flair's last match. And I think it gave some of these promoters okay, if we can have this on our brand and our show, and they can go out, and Sting had a great finale. And shout out to Tony and Sting and all those, and the Young Bucks and Darby for putting that all together. But I do think that Tony was kind of the catalyst, and Conrad Thompson, for these retirement matches in terms of making them a spectacle and a pay-per-view almost, or an event, because I can't remember somebody having a quote unquote retirement match on a grand stage like this. I don't remember people saying, this is his last match. I think wrestlers have always kept the door open. And now you're seeing more of this is my last match. Even Taker never said that was his last match.
True.
Shawn Michaels retired at WrestleMania, but it was almost he had to win or lose, and you never know. And then he came back.
Right. And it was based in story. And that's what I would say with Flair's first one in 2008. It was still storyline based, to where it did leave a door open, whether how great it was or not. And Flair had one of the best send-offs ever, and yet still got to do a final match outside of WWE. So you just never know.
And WWE promoted Edge's last match, and it wasn't his last match. So,
well, wasn't WWE
for now.
For now, yeah. Well, and I was waiting for you to maybe bring him up as a Hall of Famer or not a Hall of Famer? Because I'm like, didn't he already go in?
He did. Yeah, Copeland.
Yeah.
Did.
So like, it doesn't even matter. Like he already has that Hall of Fame induction. He can do whatever the hell he wants to.
Christian will go into the WWE Hall of Fame too.
1000%. Which, by the way, before we even talk about Forbidden Door later, how awesome is it that with Edge and Christian, there is no Marty Jannetty? Both guys are. Christian is unbelievable and has had such a run in the absence of Edge not being there for a few years, and now he's still going. What? Like, let me hear it. Here we go.
No, anybody who knows me knows that I am a huge fan in terms of what Christian has been able to do as a singles competitor. First of all, I thought his character once he broke away from Edge and Christian was fantastic. I loved the peeps. I loved his music, all that type of stuff. I liked what Christian did, and Christian could work. There's no doubt about it. Christian could work. Christian was very and still is very good at manipulating an audience and getting them to react, which is key in the wrestling business. So I think Christian, but if you're talking about who's had a more successful career out of the two, it's Copeland.
Successful, sure, but longevity now that Christian's doing this and is going to end up going out with Edge. I mean, I think Christian has done a lot in his TNA days. He kept that, he was at the top of his game there, and he's done a lot of great work with AEW. He beat Kenny Omega for on the Rampage, the first Rampage. Like, there's a lot of things that Christian did in the absence of Edge that I think built him up so high that they're on a more level playing field than I think people gave them credit for when they originally split.
And it seems, agree. And we have TNA doing the whole one last time with the Hardys and Team 3D. And,
yes, they are.
I don't believe the Hardys are in the Hall of Fame. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't think so. No.
So I think that's probably going to come down the pipeline very shortly here. But, I'm sure they'll gimmick this match up and make it a tables match or something, which would be the smart thing to do. But again, everyone's getting their kind of like last times, and they're really hammering the nostalgia, because right now nostalgia and realistically for the past, 15, 20 years sells.
It sure does. And we'll talk about that with the ESPN, NBC, Peacock, WWE of it all with John Cena in his stated final match. So we'll talk about that. And it's pretty crazy when John Cena is saying, this is my retirement match. This is probably the most high profile, like, I'm done match maybe ever.
Yeah, I would say. And John is not going to go back on his word.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Hogan had his WrestleMania 8. This could be his farewell match. And then he was at the next WrestleMania.
He wrestled for another 20 years.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, even the next year, he was thrust right back into the WrestleMania storyline.
Sure.
So I don't think that was Cena,
that's because we know why now.
Well, sure.
Couldn't do it without Hulk. Need Hulk.
No. And speaking of, we haven't even talked since then. R.I.P. Hulk Hogan. Crazy. I still cannot believe that like, I
now there's medical malpractice and stuff. Like,
it's crazy, man. I talked to a lot of people about this, where ultimately in my life, if I can get an interview with a wrestler, that's great. That's what I'd like to have, a one-on-one interaction with them.
Sure.
Recorded. If not, I'd love to get a photo with them. Just a small photo. I don't need anything else. I'm not a big autograph guy. And the longer time goes on and Father Time's undefeated, more of these guys are not there. I mean, it's crazy that it's Brett and Flair and so few from the 80s and 90s that are still around. And
dude, there is like one person, or I think it's two people. Yeah, it's two who are alive from WrestleManias 1 through 9 that main evented. There are two people, Bret Hart and Ted DiBiase. I believe that's it. Oh, Slaughter. Yeah. No, and Slaughter.
Well, Mr. T.
All right. Well, if you're counting, sure. Okay. So I was counting like WWE superstars or whatever. Right?
I'm counting people in the main event because Lawrence Taylor.
Mr. T. Well, I didn't say 11. Mr. T.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr. T, Ted DiBiase, Sergeant Slaughter, and Bret the Hitman Hart. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah. So
I'm not, that's where me and you differ. I don't want to interview anybody in character. I never will, never want to.
Well,
but I listen, you have a journalism degree. I get, and this is what you want to do. I get
I like
that.
talking
So,
to people.
Yeah, and I get that, but I would rather have a regular conversation with these boys and girls. Pictures, yeah, I have a wall full of pictures.
If I can have a conversation that's not recorded, yes, that also counts. I mean, just some sort of personal interaction with them and meeting them at all is better than an autograph to
But
me.
what I'm saying is, like, if I could, I'll use an example. Like I talked to Ken Anderson, Ken Kennedy.
Yeah.
If I could get Ken out of, and he is now fully out of character, that would be something I would put on my socials and have an actual interview with Ken, because that type of stuff is where I like when we could just shoot the shit. Now I don't have to interview like, you know, I don't want to interview. I use an example like I think Tony Storm does fantastic work, but I don't. That's a character. It's a character.
Sure. And I get that. I definitely get that. I just, I like any sort of interaction. I'd like to have met the person, had some sort of interaction, even if it is off the record. Those are honestly some of the best stuff you get because, you get candid with these people and they're just people just like you and me. So,
yeah, absolutely.
But it's just as time goes on, those are few and far between. And I brought that up only because I got a photo with Hogan probably 10 years ago. And I'm very grateful that I even had the opportunity for it. Now knowing what happened. So you just never know. It's pretty crazy. So
agreed.
Let's talk about more craziness. AAA, Triple Mania. Everybody was tuned into this show, Drew. Saturday night, nothing else going on. It's right before college football season. They're just let's put it on our YouTube.
Good timing.
Unbelievable. Great show. And I love the commentary. Corey Graves did a wonderful job. And I thought everybody there did a wonderful job in ring, out of ring. Great presentation. Mr. Iguana is a huge star. What can I say?
I'm not Mr. Iguana. I will say that again. Timing's everything. That, in my opinion, that's a giant litmus test to see what they can capture in terms of an audience. Now it's free. I get it. It's a lot of views, a lot of impressions, a lot of noise. People who don't watch AAA regularly, like myself, watched it because, like you said, there was nothing on. It was raining here in Minnesota, so I was just like, screw it. Me and my wife sat down. She had no interest, and we were cooking, and it was on in the background, and then we sat down and watched the two main events, and my wife goes to me, "Isn't that guy in WWE?" And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "Why are they on this?" And I was like, "Well, because they bought it." She's like, "Really?" And she's like, "I've never heard of this promotion." So again, introducing new things to new audiences, and that's what WWE did here, in my opinion. And again, smart. I do believe that they are going to shop some weekly television and or events like this to a streaming provider, and I think Peacock will be the person or persons, NBCU, who buys that. We'll see.
And it would make the most sense. We've already got another Worlds Collide coming up in Vegas with Vikingo and Dirty Dom one-on-one. So, and look, they're intertwining WWE storylines within AAA with the AJ Styles thing. It's just, I like it. I really love that it could just be a AAA show, but AJ Styles shows up. Like, these things used to happen very, very rarely. And now WWE capitalizing on that and making those things happen and having interpromotional things, I love. I know a lot of people are going to hate on it, and TNA's not getting anything from WWE. Okay. All right. Think what you want to think. But
I would assume that TNA is getting a lot.
They are getting, without knowing how many more people are talking about TNA than they have been in the last 5 or 6 years.
I purchased Slammiversary, and like, I haven't bought a TNA pay-per-view in decades.
That right there, you bought a TNA pay-per-view,
which I will never. I will never do it again. That's it for me. It wasn't a bad show. It's just I'm just not gonna. We were again. I think it was Sunday night. Nothing to do. I'll put it on. Why not? But it was not paying $50 or $40.
Well, 50, yeah. If it's more accessible and less expensive, that would allow for more people to be willing to purchase it, such as yourself. But
not doing that again. But hey, listen, that's what WWE and TNA want. Normally I wouldn't buy it, and I bought it.
They hooked you, Drew. Oh, you bought it. You bought it. You were all in.
Hook, line, and sinker.
That's right. Speaking of hook, line, and sinker, the bloodline continues. Naomi and Big Jim with I love this segment. This was, pregnancy things, real life things can go one or two ways. And I thought this was genius. They had Naomi come out. She was like,
turn that around real quick.
Right before she was going to start the promo, they cut to the conclusion of the teaser that they had with Stephanie's Places. And it was a great moment. And she was like all about it and everybody's behind her. And then she kind of flips the switch, freaks out on Adam Pearce. And I just love the whole thing. She kept herself in the storyline of like, proceed with caution. You don't know what's going to happen. As soon as I'm done, like being a mom and doing what I got to do when I need to do it, I'm coming back with a vengeance and you better watch out. And that's all you need to do is sow that seed, come back to it later. And you get some great lines, the bloodline continuing, like all these things were so good. Congrats to both of them. It's just, I don't know, real life and WWE kind of mixing up like that. It can create great moments. So good on them.
Absolutely. And congratulations to Naomi and Big Jim.
Now there's
parenting.
Oh my God, little Jimmy.
Good there you go.
Jimmy.
If it's a boy, parenting is it's fun. Just joy.
You wonder why we haven't had a show in 2 months.
Yeah, I'm balls deep in sports and youth sport, football, baseball, gymnastics, all this other stuff. I mean, this is the learning and the growing process.
Learning tree.
Yes, right. And it's been interesting. It's been interesting watching my oldest go through like half-ass baseball, now competitive baseball, and we're
tough, man.
We're just about to get out of half-ass football and real football. So here for it.
Hey, did he enjoy SummerSlam?
He did. We had a blast.
Yeah.
Night
1 and night 2. I thought night 2, Cena, Cody Rhodes. Forget about it,
man. Yeah. WWE is doing some things on some very, very large scale. It was a sight to see. And he had a blast. It's a long day, but
and the tailgate. Oh my God.
Right. Shout out to Matt Cardona and AJ Francis. They were great. Yeah, it was great. Great overall time. Couldn't have asked for better, seats. Couldn't have asked for better matches. I mean, it was very nice. Yes.
Good. It's good. Easing him into being an Uber fan like you.
Well, they're going to be here next year, so
yeah. We'll see.
That Jersey drive from New York is just god awful.
Yeah, but hey, 2 nights in Minneapolis, baby.
Can't wait. Hope to see you here.
We'll see. We'll see what we want to do. I'm looking forward to potentially getting my ass off out there. I've never been to Minnesota, to be honest with you. Why would I need to go out there?
It's beautiful here in the summer.
Right.
I wouldn't advise coming here in December and January, but
hell no. Oh man. But that arena looks sick, so I'll be looking forward to that.
AEW ran full gear here at the Target Center, and it snowed in November. It was like early November too, and it was snowing.
November. I mean, it snowed in October here on the East Coast. It happens. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation. But one more quick note before we dive into the 2 biggest topics. Are we going to see a reverse change in Bayley's character back to the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men? No. She had the promo this past week, another video promo, and at the end it was a voice saying, "Can I have a hug?" So I think Bayley's going to be like, or is it just a tease?
I think Bayley's going to be a schizo.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
What does that entail? Is she going to be Mankind?
She could be split personality, that type of stuff. I think you're going to see that because I think you've really done a lot with the Bayley character where she's gone from this person, the happy-go-lucky, lovable, to the role model, to just being her, truthfully. And she's so good. But I think it's, the character is, you got to reinvent yourself. Undertaker did it like 3 or 4 times. And I think Bayley is going.
We talked about Chris Jericho earlier. He always reinvents himself.
And I think the good ones always do, and they can always figure out when it's just that time and it's ran its course. And I think Bailey with a split personality will work. It will really work.
I really didn't think of a split personality thing. That's good. Give me more deeper storytelling within the women's division.
I bet you if you asked Bailey, and I don't know her personally, but I bet you if you asked her like who, and I'm sure it's out there somewhere, who are her favorite, like wrestlers growing up or whatever, I bet you she would name Mick Foley. I bet you.
I mean, how many wouldn't say Mick Foley is one of the inspirations growing? Anybody could. Mrs. Foley's baby boy.
Yeah, this seems very like reminiscent of that.
You heard it here, folks.
Right
here.
Just my prediction. No spoilers.
To quote Blake Mitchell, I thought you quit Twitter.
Never. I mean, I would. No, I mean, I would listen. There's a lot of things right now in the hopper that we're trying to figure out what's going to be what. But if somebody ever said to me, "You got to get off Twitter," I'd get off Twitter. Somebody said, like, "Hey, here's this. It's yours. Don't be posted on social media." I would say, "Adios."
I'll take over. It's okay.
Yeah,
I have a good social media presence. I can handle your Twitter.
Sure. I would love that. There is
it'll just be flooded with WCW tweets.
I know, and Seinfeld nonsense. I did love some things about Dynamite last night, but some things were rotten. Absolutely rotten.
Let's hear them, Drew. Let's hear them. What did you hate? I like this. Negative Drew is very rare. So when you get it,
I liked Will's promo. I thought there was a really good line. You're not just people, you're my people. I think that could transcend into like everything. I'm talking about life in general. You don't have to be like everybody's cup of tea, but those people that are your people, you should always, want to be with those people and take care of those people. I thought that was a really good line. I think Will, again, this is a guess. I think Will's hurt. I think Will's hurt bad. And I think Will's going to need surgery. I don't know that to be fact. This is me just stating from what I can gather from listening to him. And I wish him the best.
Unsanctioned match is a good idea for him.
Again, we'll get into the predictions a little bit later, but whatever happens, if it's a work, cool, whatever, then I've been worked in terms of what I'm seeing from Will and the emotions and everything else like that, which is very possible. But I don't know. Something tells me that Will is going to be gone for a long time. I'm hoping that's not the case, but if it is, my thoughts and prayers are with him, and I hope everything. I mean, he mentioned going under the knife, which you don't do. Like, you don't work the audience that way. I think there's a way to go about it.
Yeah,
and there's a way not to. And Will doesn't seem like he speaks very much from his heart and off the cuff. So I think there's a lot going on right now, and it's not my place to even like recklessly speculate in terms of I know exactly what it is, because I don't. I could guess by his promos, but I think my guess is that Will's probably got to get surgery, and it's probably something where the match will maybe write him off of television for a while. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't need surgery and just needs some time off. I really don't know. But Will's promo was good, and it also let me start to understand that this might be the last time we see Will for a little bit. I could be wrong.
And if that's the case, we had been talking about maybe him getting a huge spot at this show for a title, perhaps, and things. If that were the case, clearly those things might have changed to what we have now. But of course, health is most important. So if he's got to go away for a bit, surgery or whatever, just healing up from the insane style that he wrestles with, I mean, it's a wonder these guys don't get hurt more often. That, hey, do what you got to do. If anything, there's going to be guys and girls in AEW that always step up and do what they got to do to fill the shoes of a guy like Will Ospreay, and then Ospreay will come right back into the fold and they'll move forth. So yeah, that's the benefit of having a deep roster.
Yeah. I also thought the FTR Brodito thing, I didn't hate that, because I think a triple threat, first of all, Brodito seems to be gaining steam.
A lot, yeah.
So why not have them on the card? You could easily do FTR versus the Hurt Syndicate. I get it, but I think this works. And I didn't hate that at all. I also like that they went to a draw instead of some DQ finish. I thought that was smart booking. What stunk, and which I thought was rotten, was the MJF stuff. Now, I didn't hate the fact that he was trying to, abduct and beat down and basically murder Mark Briscoe. But he came off like the Joker in this, right?
And we already did the devil thing.
Right. And for me, it's like, I don't know who came up with this shit, but he's cashing in. No, he's not. Now, Max, got, I guess, hoodwinked into accepting the deal and signing the contract. And now it's Hangman Page has accepted this and the 3 terms and conditions that Max laid out. I again, like, you cashed in the contract. Fine. Right. It just seems as if they went back after a week and Max was probably like, man, I don't think I need to cash in this contract. The internet was like, this is stupid, blah, blah. And this is just my guess. Or even maybe it was the whole creative process, Tony. I don't know. But to me, too convoluted, and it was rotten. And I don't understand. Max is now the Joker. He's now kidnapping people. He's got henchmen. To me, Hangman Page coming off the big victory with Moxley. Max is a great opponent, and he's cashing in. Now this basically signals Hangman ain't fucking losing, and Max is going to get another title shot down the road. Or Hangman wins and Max immediately cashes in his contract that night, like right after it. Yeah. Right after the match. It's just, this is too much. It's too much bullshit, in my opinion. And I think it's to protect one person and MJF, and he doesn't need the protection right now. That's just me.
And I hate to bring this up, but I mean, you have been critical in the past, as all of us have been, but I'm just saying specifically you because we're talking. The thing with Jeff Jarrett didn't work with MJF, and it's just like certain things, and it's almost repetitive of like, well, who is this serving? What purpose does it hold? And now we get to a point where after all that, it's a one-on-one match. The contract is not being cashed in. And if Hangman loses or gets DQ'd or count out, the title goes to Max. We'll get to the predictions later, but I mean, it sets up where the match can happen and Max lose and then cash in anyway. Why would you just cash it in anyway? Like, does it really help Max's like dastardly character? Really? I don't know.
It's too convoluted. It's too, like, I understand what he did. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, he used him as a pawn. Yeah, I get it. Phil said this, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, he used Mark as a pawn. I get it. Like, I do understand that. My problem is that, we didn't need to go this route. Like, you should have just either had a different opponent for Hanger.
He could have had the contract cash in and then make Mark the pawn and also give the stipulation. Like, if you get DQ'd during this match,
sure,
I still win the title, but the contract should still be on the line. I don't like that it's been retracted.
And I understand, Juice, that people are like, well, maybe AEW didn't want to have 2 contracts. Man, my knuckle is all screwed up in football. Didn't want to have 2 contracts. That's what you get when you play football for so many years. I didn't want to have 2 contracts cashed in on the same night. Okay, I get it. Fine. But this is the story you told. And now it's like, no, we got to backpedal. I'm just saying some of the stuff involving MJF is left, right, up, down. And Max is a hell of a talent. Yeah. And he's a hell of a, professional wrestler. But at times it's like, dude, stop listening. I don't know who is, but stop listening to what every Tom, Dick, and Harry has to say on the internet, because at times they are steering you in the wrong direction.
It couldn't have been to you. You quit Twitter.
I don't talk about, this is the first time I've ever been like overly critical on this. And this is a world heavyweight championship stuff. And I think that this was overbooked, overproduced.
Well, it's baffling. We sat there and watched an amazing story conclude at All In, right? Mm-hmm. And what we always talk about. That's great. And that's perfect. And it's the simple solution. Have Hangman win it in Texas off Mox, who's had it for a while. But what's next? And okay, you have a guy with the contract who's a made heel. He's probably the best heel you got in the company. Okay, let him cash in. Or the back and forth. You would think they would have had something said already.
Sure,
it's the next big show.
If you look at this, like, who does this protect? This doesn't protect Hangman Page at all.
No,
your world champion looks like a moron.
Who wants to save his friends? Yeah, I don't know. Unnecessarily, it's
get
unnecessary because Mark Briscoe and MJF have had this little thing, but now all of a sudden it's a huge deal involving for this story.
But
Was that always the plan, you think?
But like the thing was this is where it's the little nuances. The match was made. Yeah. Max agreed. And people say, well, he never signed the contract. Well, okay, so then why did you make the match? Like, that's the other thing. Like, I just think that this is too up, down, left, and right. They could have easily just sat back and they could have done this whole angle where Max is like, Hangman is trying to manipulate Max, and Max is like, I'm going to do it. I have no choice. I'm going to do it. I have to sign this contract. And he doesn't. We go to this past Wednesday, last night, and we get the whole thing with Mark Briscoe. And then, Hangman's like, fine, you can have your match. You don't need to sign the contract. That makes more sense. But at this, it was like Max cashed in. There was online backlash from it. It's too soon. They're doing both of them. And then, let's change it. Okay. All right. Maybe I'm wrong. That's just the way I see it.
So but it's clear that you're kind of standing firm on you somewhat have a belief that maybe online backlash was leaned into and listened to by Max or someone to be like, maybe we should change this.
Yeah.
Like, because to me, I didn't think that I would wager that it would have had to have been such a vocal majority of backlash to change plans if that's what happened. So you think that there was enough for them to be like, I don't know, let's go another way.
The thing with I really don't have a lot of problems with AEW's creative at all. I don't. Some of the things are okay. Some of the things are really good. And some of the things are just rotten. And like the things that consistently hit me that I believe don't make sense, that are rotten, are the stuff involving Max. And I don't understand why. The Jarrett thing was dropped out of nowhere. Okay. The Hurt Syndicate thing is not being talked about right now, besides the fact that if Max wins, Bobby's coming for the championship. But he was in it. Now he's out, blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of like dropped. Now we're after Hangman Page. It's like, bing, bang, boom. That's not working. Bing, bang, boom. That's not working. Okay, it's like, dude, we got 12 months of storyline in 3 months, 4 months. It's very, very quick. And whatever. But I'm just saying the Max stuff, just for me, I think it's a lot. It's just a lot. And it's very like all over the place. So again, I don't know. I just feel like the Jarrett stuff was dropped out of nowhere because it just didn't go where it was supposed to go. Fine. Hurt Syndicate things seemed like they had something there. I was digging it, and then all of a sudden it was dropped. And then they made sense of it. Fine. But now we're on to Hangman. And Max winning that contract was a great call.
1,000%.
But I mean, I'm sorry. It just seems like we're here, there, and everywhere. And
you would think that with, again, arguably the best heel in the company, that things would be like pretty simplified and you can make something like this work with MJF going after the world title, cashing in a contract. To me, why wouldn't you just go the Edge route and have him cash in after Hangman has a crazy match?
Right.
That's all you need to do. Get more heat. Easy, cheap heat on MJF would go a long way because he's done it before and he would do it again. You can't trust the guy. That's the genius of the character.
If this works, I'll be the first one to come on here and say that I was wrong about it. But
yeah,
I mean, and there's going to be some like master plan that some burner that probably is associated with one of these guys or some idiot that's like, well, listen, Max had one and then the Hurt Syndicate and they all came together and then it's like, man, fuck out of here. Like, it's just professional wrestling. It's sports entertainment. If I got to like think all the time, I mean, I'm not playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I'm trying to be entertained,
R.I.P. Regis Philbin.
Amen.
He was at WrestleMania 7.
He was. And WrestleMania 4, I think, or 5.
Probably one of those, I would wager. I kind of want to say
or
4.
Maybe it was Vanna White. I'm confusing. Maybe it was Vanna.
Yeah. I mean, they're all over. And Alex Trebek was at one of them too. Damn, they're all over the place. Oh, love Jeopardy. You play Jeopardy every now and again, Drew? Like when it's on TV, no?
Do I? Oh, like will I play along with the television?
Yeah.
Sometimes, sure. My mom
Okay.
will tell you that I used to, when the music would hit, I would run my like I don't know, not pack and place, whatever you call them, the things with the wheels. I can't remember, drawing a blank. When you'd sit a kid in it and it's got wheels on it, and you'd run, you could, when you can't walk or whatever, I'd run right to the television. I forget what they're called. Somebody will put it in the chat. So
that's such a bizarre childhood for one Andrew Baydala.
I guess I love Jeopardy.
Jeopardy is a great show.
Philbin is dead. Yes. Somebody is Regis Philbin.
I would not put that out in the world if I didn't know it.
My man died like 6 years ago. So
yeah, Trebek.
It's a walker. Trebek. That's what. Yeah, it's a walker.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going with. But
do we see? Hold on. Ready? Do we see Wardlow help MJF as the insurance policy, as was said in their face-to-face last week? I don't know.
AEW's coming back to Pittsburgh in September. I'd like to see Wardlow show up there.
Jesus. Okay.
I didn't say I agree with that guy's statement. I said I'd like to see Wardlow come back on a full screen, role in AEW when they come back. He's from the area.
I just want Max to go back to Max of, like, I don't know.
I want him to call Tony Khan a mark. I want him to freak out on people. I want him screaming and be pseudo Ric Flair, but out of his mind. When he's just MJF, like, that's all he needs to be. It doesn't need to be any, like, additional, like, the devil stuff was cool, but I think that's as far as like,
I like that.
Crazy. Yeah, that was great. And the poker chip, it was great.
Yeah.
But again, he was under a mask. So, like, maybe you didn't know who it was. Now it's just like, I'm outwardly making things confusing.
And like, I know that Tony has stated that he is like the only person who gets to call creative and has final say, and I believe him. But again, there's just, when there's too much, it starts to stink. And I think that, again, this is all just my thought. I think Max.
This is a report.
I think Max has input heavy, because it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. And sometimes it's very convoluted to protect the character, and I get it. But you're starting to shoot yourself in the foot. Just my opinion.
For major heels, though, it doesn't need to be overcomplicated because you can lose in a chicken shit way and get the heat anyway by beating them down. Like, there's always a way for the bad guy to keep their level and status, win or loss.
And here's the deal. When I said Max would be one of the biggest losses that AEW could ever have. And I still stand by that. And characters go through iterations where you're like, this shit sucks sometimes. And still am. I think Max has a lot of talent. And I believe that Max can, do great things. The Danielson match at Revolution. A lot of things that Max did. The Devil storyline. Again, his match with Punk. His match with a lot of different guys was just, and the storylines were fantastic. But this year, I look at 2025, I would say that the only thing that I could sit back and say that I've enjoyed thoroughly with Max was his Battle Royal win. That's it.
Well, I liked him trying to get into the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, it was good.
And then it seemed like it dragged. Quick, but then it was like, well, he got the thing, and why'd they turn on him already? Why wouldn't you let him in and have some? He dressed up like MVP. That's great. I love the stuff like that.
Dude, and at World's End on Long Island, Max was over like Rover. Like, completely over. And he had a really good match at Revolution with Hangman too. I think there's a lot more that MJF could be doing, and I don't know.
You're at a loss for words, Drew.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to do Forbidden Door first, or you want to do WWE?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Do the WWE ESPN thing. We'll spend the last 10 minutes on Forbidden Door, 7 minutes, whatever it's going to be. Got an hour in and out.
Okay. Because I think the WWE ESPN stuff's going to take a lot longer. That's why.
All right, let's start it and we'll see where we end up. Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm saying Forbidden Door should be first. And close that. Okay.
Let's do it.
Well, we're already talking about the main event. So, let's just hop into it while we got it. Because people are going to ask questions based on ESPN anyway. All right. Forbidden
I
Door.
probably don't have the answers for it. Go ahead.
And that's fine, but that's why we're here to see what you will and will not answer based on your knowledge, your expertise, if you will. 9 matches, 1 p.m. Eastern start time. Big fan of that here on the East Coast. What is that, 12 for you?
Little Sunday nooner. I'm here for it.
Ooh, love that. And I can't wait the following week. Clash in Paris, 2 p.m. on a Sunday Labor Day weekend.
This is the last PLE on Peacock.
Oh, we'll talk about that soon. All right, let's get into it. 9 matches. Lights out.
9 matches on the naughty door? All right.
Yeah. I hope there's no more. 9's good. 9's a good one.
He's gonna add matches.
I know. Tony loves matches because pay-per-views always are great. And why not?
Oh, they have a curfew, so the pay-per-view is going to be like 4 hours and like 10, 15 minutes flat. Like they won't go over that.
They better not cut it off like Halloween Havoc 98.
No, it's a city curfew. Go ahead. I digress.
Okay. Pay-per-view curfew. Golden Lovers. Darby Allin, Tanahashi, Will Ospreay versus the Death Riders, Claudio, Jon Moxley, the Young Bucks, and Gabe Kidd. Lights out, steel cage. Drew, is this going to be a bigger steel cage than we're used to? Is this going to be...
Lord, I hope so.
5 on 5? Are they going to jam all these guys in there? Is there going to be a roof? What's going on?
There's no...
people. What's happening?
Well, there's not double rings. I can promise you that. So it's not blood and guts because, boy, have they sold this building very, very well. Yeah. And I think if they were to try and even do the double rings, they'd really have to make the rings smaller because...
Oh, God. Here we go.
Right. It's not happening. I mean, they would have already announced it. I just don't see it.
Holy shit. Please make the ring smaller. The people already bitched about that when the one time it happened. Oh,
what they could do, which is interesting, is like, could they have an oversized cage that doesn't necessarily like go towards the ropes? It comes past the ring post and kind of hits like the barriers, like the guardrails. So it's almost like a Hell in a Cell. Right. That's what I think you could see. Now, I don't know this. I don't know it. But that's my guess because that's a lot of bodies in the ring. I'm going to go with the Death Riders because I think Will get stretchered out. And I agree, Tim. We're going to pray for Tanahashi and his knees. God bless him.
Oh, my God.
He is he's getting his last match in London, and I think he deserves that, and good on AEW for doing that. But listen, I want Tanahashi to get out of the match unscathed because truthfully, I mean, he deserves his whole run, and I feel for him. You could tell he's in a lot of pain when he walks.
I agree, and I too believe the Death Riders should get the win. I hope the Young Bucks find another way to degrade themselves coming to the ring. I'm looking forward to it. That has been wonderful. I love that they lean into everything with their storylines, and they've done that since the beginning. And it's nice to see them come full circle of, wow, they're the Young Bucks are in AEW. They're going to win the titles and hold them forever. And now they're giving themselves jobber entrances. So take your time, and things are going to even out. And now there's a huge crop of tag teams. The Young Bucks know what they are. They know who they are. And I think this is going to be a great match. I think it's going to be crazy.
Listen, I got to have the Cope and Christian reunions. Got to have Cope and Christian versus the Bucks. We're going to get Cope and Christian versus FTR. No doubt about it. But those are 2 absolute tag teams that I need to have Cope and Christian go against. I'd like to see them go against the Hurt Syndicate. I don't think that would happen. I would have liked to see them go against the Guns. That's not going to happen right now. So, again, I think there's those 2 tag teams got to happen. And I think the Young Bucks winning this match could set them in the right direction. So I'm with you. I need the Death Riders and the Bucks to win this one.
Yeah, and a little bounce back after they lost at All In. All In. Texas.
You love that.
I do love that. It was great. Let's talk about the Hurt Syndicate 3-way elimination match, which is very interesting that it's elimination. I like that. FTR versus Brodito versus the Hurt Syndicate. Drew, does the Hurt Syndicate lose first so we automatically get new tag champs?
You know what was interesting? I saw a lot of morons jump the gun, and I hear you. Because you just don't let things play out. And listen, I could be one of those guys with the whole MJF thing. The track record doesn't show that in terms of what we're going to see, but from Max and And what will happen, I don't know. But
always accurate Andrew Baydala. That's what I call him.
But everyone was like, it's a 3-way, so the Hurt Syndicate don't have to eat the pinfall. And I was like, okay. I saw a lot of people putting that out, and I was like, oh boy, you're going to be eating them words when it's an elimination. So, could the Hurt Syndicate lose this? Yeah, I think they are. I think FTR gets the dub ski, and I think we crown new AEW tag team champions.
I agree. I think it's very obvious, and we talked about it. FTR should be going against Cope and Cage, and the titles being on the line would make even more sense being in Toronto. Why not? Let's do it. Again, we talked about MJF and how convoluted that can be. I've said how many times, sometimes the simplest option is your best option. Just roll with that. So FTR should win this match.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
There it is. I knew you knew that.
Hey, I watch TV. Kazuchika Okada versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW Unified Championship. Did you see what Swerve said the other day?
Yeah, which was interesting. It's almost like sometimes, again, love Swerve, dog. But I think like sometimes I think less is more. Maybe no interviews before major pay-per-views where you're going to divulge this type of information. And
maybe that his knees are falling off the bone like a nice dinner.
Yeah, and he needs surgery, right?
Him and Ospreay, and they just had the craziest match at All In, arguably. That was all over the place, and now it's like, we're done.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to say, I wanted to pick. I really did want to pick Swerve in this one, but I can't see it. Maybe it's the big old Swerve from Swerve. I don't know. Maybe he's good to go, and he just said this so that we can, and maybe he's working everybody. I don't know, but I'm gonna go with my boy Okada here.
Me too, bitch.
Okay, all right.
Come on, Athena, Timeless Tony Storm. This is the contract match.
Did she sign the goddamn contract? Do we know? I'm just saying.
I don't know.
Like,
with money in
with money in the bank, it's coming because so-and-so is cashing in. And
there is no sign. That is interesting. It's just a handing off of the contract. No one's ever had to sign it. You would assume when you hand
over the contract to the referee, I'm pretty sure it's legally binding. I'm not a lawyer. Some people on Twitter are, but I'm not a lawyer.
Mark Sterling.
Right. But I would assume that storyline legal, if that's what happens, and binding. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully Athena signed the contract because we don't need any more convoluted bullshit. I'm gonna go with Timeless Tony Storm. I like Athena, I like what she's doing, but I could see one of her minions costing her.
I could see the same thing. I think Tony Storm should continue her momentum, and who knows what that leads to going into All Out. I think there's a plethora of women going after her. Once we get to that point, we got a month out from that show. So I agree. I think Tony Storm takes this one and retains. In the Fatal 4-Way for the TBS Championship, Bozilla, Persephone, Alex Windsor, and Mercedes Moné going at it for the TBS Championship. Come on. We know who's winning this match. It's all about the money.
Yeah, 9 belts Moné. Yep.
Well, is it 9? I thought it was 8.
Might as well be 18. I don't know.
Well, eventually she might get to 9, and that she could have had 9 at All In, but she didn't.
Yeah, Mercedes has got this one.
Yeah,
I do like me some Alex. I like some Alex Windsor though.
Yeah, well, wait till you see Persephone in the ring.
Bozilla too.
Yeah. A lot of in this match.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say about that. Takahashi versus Kyle Fletcher for the TNT title. Kyle Fletcher just won this thing. He's retaining. I see no other way around it. Drew, what say you?
I like Takahashi, but as a wrestler, I'm gonna go with Fletcher as well. I think Dustin did him a lot on his way out for right now, and I think Fletcher's got to roll with that momentum.
I tend to agree. We have Cope and Cage versus Kip Sabian, and look who's back. It's Kill Switch tag team match. People were really upset that this match was happening instead of the moment happening. Get over yourselves. You get a match with these two guys in London, and then you get them again in Toronto. Why wouldn't you want to give crowds that never see AEW a legendary tag team like Edge and Christian? Why wouldn't you want to give them that match if you have the opportunity to? So the people that thought, oh, well, the moment was wasted, kick rocks, whatever you want to say, Drew, smoke a cigarette backwards, stack marbles on the freeway, get the hell out of here.
Attaboy, that's
so let's go. I listen. So Cope and Cage win this match. It's going to be a great thing. So looking forward to it.
Yeah. Cope and Christian definitely get the victory. I feel for Nick Wayne. You could tell that Christian probably really wanted to close out that chapter in terms of like, the start, the end, with the whole, patriarchy and all this other stuff. And it seems like it might go on for a little bit, or there's going to be some sort of redemption for Nick Wayne. But I think that's why we're getting this. You need to close out one chapter before you open another one. And I do like that they started to play up a little bit with Christian saying that I'm not fully there yet. And then, we get to Toronto and I think we'll see an embrace. I think a lot of people jumped the gun. And I think AEW had to tell these visual morons that, hey, Christian didn't hug Cope back, which I know is a small detail, but that's your moment, right? Everyone's wanting the moment. You're going to get the moment. Maybe it's not the tag titles now. Maybe it's just that hug in Toronto and then off to the races. And maybe, just maybe, Cope and Christian win the tag team championships at a different pay-per-view. Gee, I don't know. Maybe Wrestle Dream, where Copeland debuted in St. Louis, or maybe even in Newark, or I don't know, maybe at World's End. Who knows? But a lot of y'all have your shoes on the wrong feet. You smoke cigarette backwards. Yes, you stack marbles on the freeway. You do a lot of stupid things with your free time. And now you're eating a lot of your words. Well, the Hurt Syndicate's in this match to eat. Are you sure about that? Cope and Christian, they're back together. They blew the whole hug. I mean, they could have had him. You sure about that? Just saying.
I like this aggressive Andrew Badala.
I mean, normally I'm calm, cool, and collected, but it's just like you don't.
It's been a while since we've had the forum to talk, and here you go.
People don't let things like just settle. Everyone's like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? This is what we're getting? Are you kidding me?" And it's like, no, it's wrestling. Let it play out.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Like, let it play out. Let it play out.
Yeah.
I will never watch this show again. All right, see ya.
That's crazy. See ya. I will happily watch this show, and I'll watch the next pay-per-view and the next one. Why deprive yourself of good pro wrestling because you think you're tough? No one cares that you're not watching because everybody else is having a great time watching.
I'm not watching. Ooh, oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, they're suffering now. That buy rate going down. One person's going to kill them. AEW's in the tank.
It's funny to me how, like, again, people just don't let things happen. And we live in such a very instant reaction type society, and I get it. But sometimes you got to understand this is weekly episodic television. And they could go left, they could go right. At the end of the day, either just enjoy it or get out of the car.
Yeah. Get out of the car. On the highway.
And then
open the door.
Marbles. Yep.
Yeah. If you're still alive after that, stack some marbles.
Stack some marbles.
And light up that heater backwards.
Yep. That heater. You just straight smoking heaters out here, huh?
Darts.
Yep. Couple darts. Yep.
Little Jackson Dart. He got concussed tonight.
Did he? Because he was killing it.
He passed protocol. I wanted the Steelers to draft him, but they didn't.
So I wanted the Jets to draft him too, but they never draft anybody I want.
Well, I think Jackson Dart's going to be playing quick if Mr. Unlimited doesn't get his if he doesn't put his shoes on, the right foot.
Dangerous. I do think that we'll get a little football in here real quick. I think there's two things to watch out for this year. Where Anthony Richardson ends up, because I think the Colts are going to cut him. I think there's a lot of teams that should give the guy a shot, especially those with a quarterback.
Because the Cowboys are giving Joe Milton a shot. He's been diming the ball. I think he could get on a team.
I'm just saying the Jets are a team that should easily put Anthony Richardson on their backup quarterback tree right now and see what happens.
I will tell you this. I've always thought, and there's your answer right there. I don't know what other quarterbacks you got in New York with the Jets, but if you specifically go, we're going to go all running. We got Breece Hall. We're going to have Justin Fields, and we're going to have Anthony Richardson. We'll do 2 quarterbacks. You don't know which you're going to get, or he's going to run this way. He's going to run this way. One could throw the ball 70 yards down the field. Commit to all running, and your defense is already good.
Yep. I love me some foosball, but yes, I'm with you. That's the approach I was literally going to lay out. You have a 2-headed really running back tandem monster. Why not do it with the quarterback? Why not make these defenses always on their toes? Because, well, is Justin going to run? They got Richardson over there. All right, we got Breece, we got Braylon. What are we doing? That's how you win games. That, truthfully, is when the defense, they could call blitzes, they could call 3-4 coverages, they could call whatever zone, whatever they want. Man, not going to work if you always have them on their toes. So, again,
looking forward to week 1.
Yeah, we'll digress. The other storyline with football I think everyone needs to watch, and this is not glazing, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to kill it in Pittsburgh.
If he gets time.
All right.
If he gets a little bit of time, I think he can do wonders. He's got DK Metcalf. He's a freak.
It's true. Mr. Naughty Door. We're going to talk about Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness.
Oh my God, man. They too many dream matches. They just do dream matches for the sake of dream matches. Fuck that. This is an amazing match. This is an amazing match that people have been wanting this type of match for a long time. And you get Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness for the IWGP World title. You say that sentence 10 years ago, people will say you're out of your mind. This is unbelievable, and I'm happy that London gets it.
It's London. I don't hate it at all. This match has been talked about by Zach, by Nigel. I think Zach has named Nigel as somebody that he either looked up to or wanted to wrestle. So it's going to happen. Whatever. You don't like it, go shit in a hat. It's not for you. Whatever. We'll move on.
And wear it.
Yeah, and wear it. And it's okay. It's all right. Like, there's other things on this card. So I'm excited for the Naughty Door. I really am.
I think it's going to be a hell of a match. I think it's going to be just a great atmosphere this whole night. These international crowds, we've seen it in WWE and AEW. They just are so hungry for pro wrestling, and to get pay-per-views, it's a huge deal.
And Tony is a huge wrestling fan. And he talked about, I think it was Nigel McGuinness versus Bret Hart or Danielson versus Bret Hart that he wanted to book, like when he was booking stuff. So again, this is stuff that I'm sure that not only Nigel and Zach want, but Tony wants it too. And he's giving the fans in London what they want. I mean, he's letting Will go out there. We don't know how bad Will is. So,
but I have Zack Sabre Jr. retaining. I don't see Nigel winning this.
You don't say.
And with Daniel Garcia in the corner, maybe you get a little forward advancement there, and then you get a Danny Garcia, Zack Sabre Jr. thing.
Zach is really the last, I think, pillar. Him and Finley and I use pillar lightly, but big talent from New Japan Pro Wrestling that if AEW gets, man.
They're running out. Yeah. They're running out. Everybody. It was Kenny Omega, gone. Okada, she's gone.
Yeah. The pool's a bit dry. She's real dry. So.
And so why not? Why not give these guys a great match?
Yep. I agree.
A match that who knows what the hell's going to happen. We already talked about it, but now we get to pick what we think is going to happen. Hangman MJF world title contract not cashed in, and if Hangman is counted out or DQ'd, he will lose the title. Do we see 2 matches? Does this end and then he catches it in anyway? What the hell's going on, Drew?
I don't know. I think it's interesting that Max's contract, like I stated, is not being utilized. I'm going to go with Hangman Page. Could I see something where maybe the Hurt Syndicate lose their tag titles and maybe Lashley helps Max win this championship? Then Big Bob is like, now you owe me and I want my title shot. Bob wins. I'm just fantasy booking here. And then Max cashes in on Bob very quickly, and it's a very quick swap.
Oh, man. That would be crazy.
That would work. It would. That would work. I just don't know. Again, it leads me to believe that Hangman Page is going to win this, but because Max still has his contract, but who the hell knows? I don't know.
So Hangman wins, and then they just, now I'm cashing in at All Out.
Well,
Let's do it
again, Hangman just had this big moment in Texas, and to take the championship off of him, like literally, I think it's a month later.
Yeah.
I don't see it. So I'm gonna go with Hangman.
Me too. I just hope something makes sense. Whatever they do, just have it make sense. Because like we always say, they have Dynamite on Wednesday. They have All Out. They have a huge show in another international market a month from yesterday. So I mean, you got to plan for the next show. So what is that plan? I know you got Cope and Cage probably going to have a huge spot there, but that's not your main event. You got to have the world title, and Hangman's got to defend it, assuming he retains. So what does that look like? I hope they have a plan.
Yeah. And again, we have a question, so I'll answer it because I feel like we should. What's the latest on Eddie Kingston? Billy, I don't know, and I think that's for good reason. Love me some Eddie Kingston. I think there is a possibility that Will Ospreay is removed from this match after his entrance and he gets beat down, or the medical teams like rush him to the back, stretchered, whatever. And Eddie is your replacement. Because they're going to give Will the entrance. Maybe they're going to give Will a couple moves here or there, and then it's going to be okay. Or maybe they protect Will at all times. I don't know, and we don't see Eddie. But I'm going to say that Eddie shows up in this lights out steel cage match. That's a prediction. I don't know.
Now, I know people were making the gigantic leap that because they doused Mark Briscoe with a gas can, who was the other guy that walked out with a gas can? Eddie Kingston. So maybe he helps in the main event.
Maybe.
But again, what does that mean?
Maybe Eddie and Max get into a feud or something, or maybe Eddie tries to save AEW from Max. I don't know. Something. I think Eddie is sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. So, and then he put in there as well. Remember, Gabe Kidd hurt Eddie Kingston in New Japan, so that would line up for that match. But I honestly could see him coming out in that lights out match, and then potentially having that a spot in the main event if that's what they intend on doing. But he can't be DQ'd. Hangman can't get DQ'd, or he'll lose the title. So who knows? But a lot of who knows is what we're going to be discussing here to close out Drew and Juice this week with the crazy blockbuster announcement. First of all, we didn't even get to discuss this either. Well, a week before this announcement with WWE, UFC is going to Paramount for $7 billion. And that changes everything. I know a lot of people that love UFC that do not want to spend per show, every show. You could be one of them. Even for a guy who I was big when it was Shamrock and Tito Ortiz.
Oh God,
and Andre Arlovsky,
Chuck Liddell, Rampage
Tim
Jackson,
Sylvia, all those guys, Anderson Silva, too. Yeah, all those guys. And I tried to get find UFC pay-per-views when I could. That was once a month. Now they're all the time, and I like to catch them if they're on. If it's a big show, if it's MSG, what have you, big names.
I felt like the UFC pay-per-views back then were like once every 3 months.
Maybe once every 2 months. It was a bigger window, but now if it's a bigger name or a bigger venue, I like to tune into them, but I don't want to pay that money. So as a guy who already has Paramount, I'm thrilled. I can just tune in there. And then WWE goes, hold our fighting here. Let's do WWE and ESPN. And initially, ESPN had already also made a deal with the NFL Network and Red Zone, acquiring all of that. And now it was going to be the beginning of 2026 at WrestleMania when ESPN was going to have this with all the PLE programming. All of a sudden, this past Tuesday, they announced, it's going to be the first show is going to be next month in September, WrestlePalooza, an ECW previously named show in Indianapolis. On ESPN. So Clash in Paris is the final cock PLE. Too bad. And we're moving forth, onward and upward. What's your thoughts? Let's hear what you got, Drew. The wrestling streaming landscape is changing. All I want to know is the WCW programming only available on YouTube from now on, or am I going to find it somewhere else?
We have to talk on something real quick. AEW has announced that they are headed back to Australia.
Yeah, it was kind of hinted. They just said they're going back. No
time, no date, no event. But there you go. They're going. Something big is coming to Australia.
That's right, Phil. Say goodbye to the cock.
Okay.
See ya.
No more of that.
What, Peacock?
So the UFC thing is smart because I truly believe that a lot of their consumers are ditching the pay-per-views and just not watching them, or they're illegally streaming them or whatever, or they're splitting them.
I would never dare support illegal streaming. I'll tell you that.
Sure. Any hoot and hollering. Me and my buddies used to split them, but you only get 2 people on the account. So it was still half of $80 bucks, which is still $40 for a pay-per-view. And you were just like, geez, was this really, worth it? And all this other stuff. Because some of the guys and girls you're watching fighting, at the end of the day, some of them I have no idea who the fuck they are. So,
right.
Besides, the main event, and I get it. And I could be a bigger fan, I guess, but I think this is very smart. I think it's the right approach to the pay-per-view / PLE model, especially with UFC when you're doing one a month and you're trying to ask your fans to pay $80 a month. I don't see it.
Even the diehards. When the diehards aren't buying into that, come on.
But you have to, UFC, you could bet on. So this is smart to get their pay-per-views off of regular pay-per-view. Because at the end of the day, what this does is this will increase Vegas. This will increase their gambling odds because it's accessible. And Paramount wanted a big splash, and this is a big splash. CBS, this is a big splash for them. And again, don't forget, some of these events are going to be on CBS. Like, you're going to have MMA on CBS. So it's huge. It's a big deal.
They did have MMA on CBS before.
Yeah, I know. It was what was it? I don't remember what it was. What was it?
Wasn't it Elite XC? Something with Kimbo Slice losing to Seth Petrozelli. The guy with the pink hair.
Yeah.
And Gus Johnson was on the call, and he was like, "Rocky is here! Rocky is here!"
Yeah. Yeah. And then, the WWE PLE stuff, we gotta wrap this up with ESPN, WrestlePalooza. I mean, it's major business for WWE. The WrestlePalooza stuff is interesting. How that all came together. It seemed like ESPN wanted a PLE to kick it off. It seemed like they wanted the word wrestle in it, because I know WWE is not a huge fan of those words besides WrestleMania, because that's a brand that has so much longevity. But I don't know. It's very interesting.
And I also saw that ESPN might have, and bless you, have said, oh, well, Evolution counts and all these other shows counted to whatever needed to their quota of PLEs. Oh, I guess we can do this in September then.
They did 2 SummerSlam nights.
Oh, 2 nights, yeah.
Evolution. They snuck in some other stuff. So, yeah. Again, I said this before, I'll say it again. WWE wants to own every night. And they want to, if AEW's got a Wednesday, they're going to drop news on a Wednesday. If AEW's got a PLE on a Saturday or Sunday, they're going to try and own the night and do something there too. It's just the way that they're going to operate. And I get it. It's business. And business at the end of the day can get nasty. So the prices for the tickets are nuts, but they'll pay them. I was going to try and
It's going to be a huge show.
I was going to try and take my son because I want him to see as much as John Cena as he possibly can, because that's his guy, him and Cody. So, but I don't know. It's a drive for us, but it's a little spendy, especially since he just went to SummerSlam. But again, the deal with ESPN is brilliant. ESPN with the DTC, the direct-to-consumer model, they're loading up NFL, Red Zone, MLB, NHL, NBA. Now this, they're loaded. And WWE, again, very smart. We don't know where the tape library ends up. I have a funny feeling it ends up on a Google property, so YouTube or YouTube TV.
Which has been working wonders. It's been great and exposes it to so many more people. So I agree. I think it's a good idea.
I think there's a possibility that you get the WWE Vault, the WCW Vault, and ECW Vault all on a channel on YouTube TV, where they just air certain things.
Oh my! Don't even
I'm just saying. And then I think you'll have your on-demand features, but I think there's something that I do think that they see the tape library as something where let's chop up the WWE vault, the WCW vault, and the ECW vault and throw it here, and let's put the past PLEs on ESPN. The library will go there. And let's throw the Raw and SmackDown tape libraries on Netflix and Peacock. So
that's crazy.
Well, but that's what they're going to do, because if you want to watch your wrestling and you want to like go back and they see all these people making money off these review shows and these nostalgia shows where they go back and watch these old stuffs and people like to go in chronological order, you're going to have to pay $85 a month to watch all your WW. So, and I get it. Smart business. But this ESPN deal is slick and it's smart.
Keep your wrestling DVDs, those of you who still have them.
I have a bunch, but I don't have like nearly as much as I used to. So,
well, if you ever want to dump them off, you know who to call.
I think they go for a pretty penny now.
Certain ones do, yeah. Well, and they aren't producing new ones. Survivor Series 23 with Punk coming back was the last one they did.
Okay, because I have like the old WWF logoed like WrestleMania 16, 17, that type of stuff.
WrestleMania 15 was the first DVD they ever did. Okay. So April of 99, and they've done pay-per-views all the way through, and Survivor Series 23 was the final one.
But again, you don't see a lot of people talking about this, so I want to make this clear. I'm sure it'll get stolen just like a bunch of my other shit gets stolen, and people say that they talk to their sources and all this other bullshit, which is bullshit. It just is what it is. I don't care. Go for it. But don't pretend like you came up with something. That stuff drives me absolutely nuts. Be a man or woman of integrity. And if
be a man, Hulk.
If you took something from somebody, then just say, hey, this person said this. We checked in on it. Seems like it's pretty good information, but don't be like, yeah, I just want to break some news here. No, you don't. You're a thief, which is fine. Go be a thief. It seems like that's just the way this slime ball stuff happens, which is why I like to do this. I think the vault stuff, like I said, WWE, WCW, ECW, and maybe like a WWE or like a territory channel could easily go on YouTube TV. They're looking for extra channels. Google would buy it, and that's where it would be. And then they'd split up the PLEs onto ESPN in terms of the vault for the PLEs. And then you would see Raw and SmackDown, like the vintage stuff or like the old shows would go to their providers, which are Netflix and Peacock. So.
And so the WWE Vault was the first one, and now it's just WCW's YouTube channel, and that's been great. And there's already people have seen that there is a link, and it's not no uploads yet, but it is just ECW, and I believe it's also going to be eventually uploaded with ECW shows, pay-per-views, what have you. I think they might be waiting for a moment to say this is what we're doing, and then boom, that's going to flood with subscribers as well.
There's 2.78 million subscribers, and this is literally there. And there's nothing on here, like nothing that's like crazy besides some unseen stuff. I get it, but it's all stuff.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, WWE Vault. There's like Superstars episodes and stuff like that. Broken Skulls. This is all on
you've never seen too.
Sure.
You're not perusing it as much as I am, Drew. There's a lot of good stuff that's well worth the free price of admission.
You're probably right. There's a WCW one that has 345,000 subscribers. So what I'm saying is like there's a market for this, and WWE will sell anything they possibly can to make money off of. And once this goes to a YouTube TV or something like that, and let's just say they start Monday Nitro, episode 1, and they just run it in chronological order, then so be it. But I mean, there's a market for it, man. There really is. Let's get some questions. I do believe ESPN will have WrestleMania night 1 on actual ESPN, and then they'll make you buy that package for night 2.
You know what's crazy, Drew? I remember leading up to WrestleMania 31, they had like pre-game or whatever outside of the stadium, like leading up to Mania 31 on ESPN, and it was like, wow, they are covering this. This is dope. And then I
29 and 30 were both there, yeah.
And then they showed the highlights of Seth cashing in and winning, and I'm like, this is really exciting. Can you believe now 10 years later, WrestleMania is going to be on ESPN. That is unbelievable.
So if you like think about this right now, right? WWE they're going to be on ESPN. They were on Fox. They were on NBC. And this is all a matter of, 10 years. NBC, Fox, and ESPN. That's crazy. Just crazy to think. So this one right here, will ESPN 42 air on ESPN linear or as a simulcast? Again, I do believe that night one will be on ESPN for the entire world to digest, to sell you into night two and to buy the package.
Buy the package.
Drew and Juice. I have two questions about ESPN. You were right, Juice. Do you think that the Xfinity will get the app soon? Yes. Xfinity, I think YouTube TV. ESPN is not going to want to cut off their nose to save their face because the partners are going to get pissed. And they're gonna have to come to some sort of mutual agreement. YouTube TV, Google bought the NFL Sunday ticket package. People called me crazy. They said there's no way, and lo and behold, here we are. I am crazy, but I will say that ESPN's got Red Zone now. That's taking some dollars and cents away from YouTube TV, even though the NFL is allowed to shop Red Zone. And they can have it on multiple providers, but you got to figure that ESPN wants to make good with all these providers, especially Xfinity, especially YouTube TV, because at the end of the day, come April, I know the PLEs are now coming on in September, so I'll subscribe for a little bit if I have to. But come April, would cancel YouTube TV and go jump over to, or I'll go back to traditional cable. And people, you don't want that. You don't want the people who are already with a certain place or a streamer provider that has ESPN, that has been loyal to them, and ESPN has a working agreement, and then you basically just stick a knife in your partner's eye. You don't want that, because then it gets ugly, and then things are going to start getting to a point where it was like DirecTV, where they weren't carrying this channel and that channel, and that was just bullshit. So
I have a fun question for you, Drew, and I know
Sure.
it's almost rhetorical because I know I'll probably do the same thing that you do.
Mhm.
It's actually a two-parter. How excited are you to have two TVs for All Out and WrestlePalooza, assuming you don't go to WrestlePalooza? And two, what do you think it's going to be? Like, do you think one show is going to try to go longer than the other? Like, this is fascinating to me, because the last time this happened, correct me if I'm wrong, was Survivor Series 87 and Starrcade 87.
Yeah.
And the first Clash and Mania 4.
That I don't know, but I do remember the Survivor Series one, because I remember that Vince was dead set against going head to head. He wanted to go head to head with Starrcade. So
he said he'd pull the pay-per-views from going on pay-per-view if you don't take it.
Yep. So I again, very interesting. I think it's a direct hey, you think you can have one of our properties, one of our IPs, and I know people are going to be like, that's not their IP. WWE looks at Edge and Christian, Copeland and Christian, as their property. When you think of them, you think of a WWE ring, you think of a 5-second pose, you think of them tagging in WWE, because realistically, you fucking knuckle brains, that's all their catalog is in WWE. And they looked at it and they were like, not happening. So do I think that was like a large percentage of why they decided to go live on 9/20? No, but it is a factor. The other factor is ESPN probably said, hey, I need people to subscribe to this. Can we get your PLE? And we need a major one out of the gate. All right, done. I'll give you Brock and I'll give you John, and that match is going to happen. And yeah, it's going to be on ESPN and all this other stuff. So I feel bad for the streamers, because I'm going to sit back and we're going to have, like you said, a TV on one and a TV on the other. And it's a Saturday, so maybe we'll have a college game on the top TV, because we got the pyramid going downstairs.
Does it get much better than that, Drew?
It doesn't. We're going to make some wings. We'll have some drinks and we'll hang out. But yeah,
what show ends first? Do you think they're going to be like, oh, we got to keep going so people still watch it? And Phil mentions that All In bled into Saturday night's main event, but this is not concurrently going head to head same time. Oh, that's another question. Do you think there's a chance AEW moves it up in time?
No, that looks too ridiculous. That
looks obvious. Like, you guys can
Toronto,
have it.
it's
You guys
East
can have
Coast.
prime time. Give me a
It's
break.
East Coast. Indy is, I don't see. I think that would be so stupid of Tony to be like, hey, we're gonna go, live now. I mean, Indy's the same time as Toronto. I think they just go head to head. I think you could see the ESPN show end sooner, which would be smart on WWE, not to drag shit out. And AEW's pay-per-views are normally long, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know why I asked that. We know AEW is going to keep going as long as they've got a match going on.
Yeah. Is SN Saturday Night's Main Event now commercial free and
now on Peacock?
I believe it's commercial free. If you have that tier, and I'm sure, I don't know. The funny thing about these, can we go over? There's still a time allotment for Netflix. This isn't something where, like, I know people like, oh, they're on Netflix. They can go 2 hours and 54 minutes if they want. They go, no, Netflix still has a wanted hard out. Is it flexible? I'm sure. But is it like that flexible? No.
And we get 2 more weeks of Monday Afternoon Raw, which I am hyped for. It's like 2 p.m., I think, and maybe a 3 p.m. in the next 2 weeks, Eastern time. So, but you get that. You'd be eating lunch. I'll be at work.
Yeah. Yep. I feel bad for the streamers. I get it, because it's like, what event do I give my time and attention to?
Yeah, but come on. Go to, if I was, I'd be going to one of the shows I'd stream from that show and say, okay. I mean, how often is this going to happen that you're going to get both shows on the same night? We don't know. This is just the first one, but I just go to one of the shows. Like, what is it really going to kill you? Your bottom line? Like, stream from one of the events and make the most out of that,
Yeah. Again, if I was local to Toronto or can't buy drivable, I'd go. Indy's a 10-hour drive for me, so maybe we just sit back and hang out and watch it. I don't know. Figure it out.
And I love how this is like the second piece that we didn't see coming for Indianapolis. Like, they got the Rumble and they're going to get a SummerSlam and they're going to get a Mania, but now they get WrestlePalooza. Like, they snuck this in and they're going to get a Mania. Cause I know you put out like, oh, why are they going to Indiana? Like, it's smart and people will go there, but they when they announced this deal with them, they were going to get the 3 big shows, and now they get an additional show, the first ESPN show, Lesnar Cena. Like, they get a huge additional show in this little window here. So shout out to Indianapolis.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Indy is a smart pick for them. They have that giant deal for 8 years. And again, ESPN seemed to want this. Rightfully so. It seemed like they wanted something with the word like, can we get something WrestleMania like? I mean, you're getting it. Cena Lesnar. Are you gonna have a Cody match? You're gonna have a Punk match.
Crazy.
Rhea. We'll see. All right, Juice. I'm starving. It was great to do this again. I have a question for you before we get off the air.
Yeah.
The match you're looking forward to the most at Forbidden Door is, and why?
Oh man, purely on intrigue, I feel like it's the lights out steel cage match. I mean, I want to see this cage. What the hell is it going to look like? I'm very curious if they are going to write off Will Ospreay and how that all looks, and will the Death Riders and the Young Bucks get that win to progress them going forward? Outside of that, the convoluted nature of the main event also intrigues me for sure.
There you go. All right, Juice, where can everyone like, subscribe, and follow you?
At Juicy Steen on Twitter. I talk WCW, AEW, WWE, NWA, ECW, whatever you want, baby.
Whatever you want, baby. I am at Andrew Baydal. It's right there below the handle. It's right there below the name tag. Juice as well. This was fun. I hope you all enjoy Forbidden Door, the Naughty Door on Sunday. I love a noon kickoff. I love a noon pay-per-view start time. Going to be a good show. The card is loaded. Would I like to have seen, Nick Wayne instead of, Killswitch or Lucas Short? Sure. But again, AEW always delivers on pay-per-view. Large crowd, over 17,000. It's a hell of a show, hell of a crowd, hell of a gate. For AEW, I expect the crowd to be on fire all night. The crowd for Dynamite in Glasgow was unbelievable as well. So shout out to them for that. Shout out to all of you watching. Over 300 people on a quick. We put this together within like an hour.
Sure did.
I was at the football field and we talked about it, and then that was it. So great to be back. Looking forward to doing more of these.
Yeah.
Thank you for everybody who tuned in. Thank you, Juice. And we'll see you guys and girls down the road. Hope you guys enjoyed. See ya.
That was Drew and Juice, a special collaboration between Final Bell Media and the Juice Box. Make sure to listen to Drew and Juice wherever you listen to podcasts.